Perfect. Life is better with ice cream, don't you think? Thank you for joining me for another 2-minute tutorial. Apologies about that. I've just caught me painting my absolute true love, ice cream. But that's not why you're here. You're here to learn something new or refresh your mind on something old. This time we're going to be looking at Excel functions, specifically xlookups, vlookups and xlookups. So let's see if we can beat the clock today. Come on, let's go. We are going to take a quick look up at vlookups and xlookups. As you can see, I've gone all Blue Peter, and here's one I made earlier. Both functions aim to return a value from a table or body of data. Vlookups can only look to the right, and xlookups can both look from the right, down, and do some other funky stuff as well. So the xlookup, this is how you can write it up here. So you type in equals xlookup, you select your lookup value, you look up array, you return array, and then you have some additional criteria that you don't have to always use. The vlookup is your lookup value, your table array, the column index that it's looking into, and then the range, whether it's true or false, and that's your vlookup. That's it. I'm beating the clock. Yeah, I'm sorry. I've cheated there a little bit to beat the clock today. So let's look at it with a bit more detail. We can start with vlookups quickly. So if we head up over here to my vlookup, now I've got total and I've got a number, and in there I've got my formula. So I've typed in vlookup, open bracket, my lookup value. My lookup value in this case is I want you to search for total in this big old box over here. So I'll look there first, and I want you to return me the fourth column. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, March's data, and I've marked it as false. False means exact match. So if you cannot find total in the fourth column, don't return me any data. Return me a mistake. Or if you wrote true, it would give you the best number approximate. So that's an approximate match. So if I'd misspelt the word total, it would look through there and go, I think it's sale, or I might think it's cost, or you're near enough, and it'll give you a number, which is very dangerous when you're working in big tables, because a misspelling can throw all your data out of sync. And that returns me my data. So if I change total to sale, you can see that updates that information. It gives me the sale for March, which is 24,458. Now I can update which column that looks into. I don't want it to look in March. I want it to look in May. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I pop in 6. That should give me 27,895, the sale for May. And that's a vlookup. You can now use an xlookup to replicate that exact same function. So here we go. I've got my 28127, and that is doing a xlookup, open bracket, look up the word total, look it up in this bit, so it defines it, only look in this section here, and then you get to your return rate. Return to me only the information corresponding to that word in this column. So I marked it already as March, and that's giving me my data. So it's going to be total for March 28127. So if I pop that, update that to sale, 24,458, sale for March. If I don't want it to look for March anymore, I can just click on that return rate, and I can actually just move this box. Let's go to May. And as you can see, both of these columns, vlookup and xlookup, are doing a search for May sales, or sale, and it's giving me 27,895. The additional bit of functionality with xlookup is it can look at the horizontal without having to do a slightly different formula, and it's similar principle, so it's much easier to remember. So I've written xlookup, there's my lookup value, so I'm looking for March. I want to look up in this table up here. So that's where I want you to find March. And I want you to return the data for just the interest. And that's what that is doing. So that is giving me the interest for March, which is 4892. And I can update both elements. So let's go to the lookup array. I want to keep it looking in that date, those dates. I want it not to return the interest, I want it to return the total. And that's giving me the total for March, 28127. And if I change that to May, you can see that it gives me 32079. So you can start to see it's building up a very different picture. You can double check that piece of information just by changing that up here. And even with the vlookup, you can change that to total. And they're all looking for May total. It's just how they're looking for it is changed. The angles that they're searching for. Another really great feature is that you can actually give multiple cell results from xlookups. So instead of looking for just a specific month, just give me everything. Give me the total for that entire column or even row. So if we look at the first cell, so again, you got your xlookup, you open your bracket, lookup value is M15, which is here, which is total, so tell me the total. And it's in there, look for total only in there, and then return me the table of data. So I've checked in January all the way to June. And that is giving me, there's January, February, March, April, May, June. All of it there, I've written that formula in once. And that's what that blue marker is basically saying, is it's spilled out that data and given it all of it to me. Which is a really quick way of just kind of punting out data fast. You know, we can update that to interest. And it does, and it just updates along the way. And you can do that on the horizontal as well. You just have to make sure you just mark it in. So you got xlookup, lookup value is May, your lookup array. I'm really happy. Your lookup array, which is where you want to search out data. So again, similar at the point of where we had interest or sale. It's just look at these months up here, and return the array from that table. And it popped in. There's the sale, there's the cost for May, there's the interest for May, and there's the total for May. All spilled out. We can change that to April, and it punts all that information out for us. And what's really clever is also we can now merge those two bits of lookups into one singular cell to give us direct information on a specific type of data to a specific month. That's what we've done here. I've done here. It's a little bit more complicated, but what we've got here is we've got an xlookup, open bracket, search for the word interest, search for interest over here, in here again where interest lives already, and then we've gone to the next part. We've started a new function, so we've opened up another xlookup. I want to search for the word June up here in January. I've done that little cell there, which is C8 to H8, and I want to look in. This is where I want to return the data from, in that big old box there. And off we go. So where before we would have to move things around, in these two we'd have to move cells around. Here we just literally can go, I want to look for the sale for June. The sale for June, 30189. But I want the sale for February. And there we go. It directly looks into that table of data and updates it. And that's it. That's your xlookup.